Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good afternoon. So, this is Trunk Road Bridge. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever watched my podcast where I speak about some violence that I suffered as a kid. You know, a very traumatic event happened to me under this bridge. What we were doing is, this path used to be full of stones. You know, it was like a stone, like dolomite, big stones it was, and it went all the way down this path and all the way down there. And what we used to do is, South Bank is just down there. It's about a mile down there. That's where South Bank, that's where the estates are. Now, when I was a kid, me and my pal, we bought some catapults. You know, they were only about 50, only cheap catapults, they were about 50 pence a catapult. You know, and we used to come up here and we used to fire the stones over there, you know, and they would come down on the other side. Now, I know that as a kid, you don't realise, you know, when man firing stones up there and some of them aren't coming down, they're probably hitting cars going past. You know, they're hitting some of the cars that are going past on the road, you know, and obviously we weren't aware, we didn't know, you know, we were, you know, 7 or 8, maybe it's even younger, to be fair, you know. Anyway, we're firing stones over there and they're coming down the other side. There was me and two of my other pals, you know, and next thing you know, as I'm stood here firing stones over there, a bloke starts climbing down that path, you know, and as he's climbing down that path, he's climbing down this side here, as he's climbing down this side, I goes up to there. So I comes up here and I stands here, and this was all fenced off because this used to be a big farm. And I stands here and I go, "Hello mate, are you okay?" And my two pals were down there. They took off, woomph, they ran off. One went that way, one went that way. You know, as I looked up at him, he just smacked me, punched me in the face. I fell down to the ground, I was dazed, and he just started beating me to a pulp, jumping all over my head. You know, he was giving me a serious beating, you know, a real bad beating, to be fair. You know, he picked me up off the floor, slammed me down, you know, what happened was, this hill here, he was booting me in the face and I was going in and out of consciousness, and, you know, I was a bit dazed, I was extremely dazed, you know. What happened was, I rolled down this hill, and as I rolled down this hill, I hit my feet. I ended up getting on my feet, run down there, you know, and listen, that is a very long path all the way down into South Bank. Now, he chased me all the way down into the open, you know. His fingers were on my back, you know. He was, I dare say he wasn't going to stop hitting me until I died. You know, that's what I think. You know, he was definitely out to kill me. He was definitely going to end my life that day, 100%. You know, the anger, the violence he was putting on me. You know, he was spitting at me. He was stamping on my head. You know, he even bit me. You know, it was horrendous what he did. Absolutely horrendous. You know, and to this day, you know, when I come through this bridge, you know, I always remember it. You know, when I come through here, you know, it comes into my head and I just think, wow, what a traumatic experience. You know, it was a mad experience, you know, to think that I survived it, you know, to think that I was only a boy when that happened. And this is how young I was, yeah. You know, I remember telling my dad about that, you know, and I never told my dad for weeks what had happened because I didn't think I was allowed to be here. You know, I didn't want to tell my mum and dad that I was up at this bridge because we got told that we weren't allowed to be here. We were only kids, but this is where the best stones were, you know. So I hid it from my dad for weeks, you know, with the damage and the you know, the things I had going on with me, because I got rushed to hospital. I told him that I'd fell off a wall. You know, I told him I fell off something and smashed all my face in. You know, I ended up in hospital for a couple of days. It was only about 4 or 5 weeks later, you know, and this is how young I was when this happened. My dad was washing my hair with a jug, you know, and he was blocking my eyes, you know, so the shampoo didn't go in my eyes. That's how young I was. That's how much of a little boy I was. My dad was washing my hair with a jug so the shampoo didn't go in my eyes and I didn't cry. You know, and I remember telling him that day, and he broke his heart. He was devastated. You know, it was about 5 or 6 weeks later when I told my dad, and he was absolutely devastated. But yeah, just thought I'd share that with you guys. This is where it happened. Trunk Road Bridge. God bless, guys. Take care.